Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the CZ457 Varmint Synthetic in 17 HMR. Overall length is 868mm or 34.75 inches. Overall weight is 2,568 grams, which is £5 10.5 ounces. Length of pull is 356mm or 14 inches. Barrel diameter is 22mm or 0.860 of an inch. It's cold hammer forged with a 1 in 9 inch twist rate. This 16-inch barrel is 410mm long. You can have 17 HMR in the 16-inch barrel. If you want the 2.2 LR, you can have that in either a 16 or a 20-inch barrel. And the barrel is threaded 1/2 inch by 20 for a moderator or muzzle brake. It's worth noting that the fore end is stiff, and if you put it in a set of tripod sticks with a clamp like this, you don't get any shifting zero when you're manipulating the rifle. The rifle supplied with a 5-round magazine, loads on the top. These are easily replaceable. You can get extra magazines if you need to, and they just click in and out with no problem whatsoever. So you've seen me shoot the rifle, let's finish up with some of the details on it. This 22mm diameter cold hammer forged barrel is 610mm or 16 inches long. I have this unnerving feeling that this one does seem to give me the most precision. Now let me just explain on target the difference between accuracy and precision. When I'm testing ammunition, I'll just shoot the groups, and to be honest, I quite like it when the group's not in the aim point, because it means the aim point's left undisturbed. Now when your actual ammunition is striking on average on the aim point, well, that is accuracy, but when it's shooting a tiny little group off to the side, that's precision. So you can ignore that, because a lot of people sort of interchange the words and say, oh, what's the most accurate rifle? And I sort of know what they mean, and in that respect I'm possibly going to say that this is the most accurate 17 HMR I have used. Now you cannot control the ammunition. You can obviously buy different brands, test different brands, different weights. You've got 17 grain, 20 grain hollow point, or there's a 15.5 grain non-toxic round. Those are the only choices you've got. There are different manufacturers, which is generally different production runs, so there can be slight variance in them. But what you can't do is you can't hand load, you can't change anything. And I do suspect maybe at some point I might get a chance to try some barrel tuners with 17 HMR. But in the meantime, this short 17-inch barrel on the CZ, it's like I say, it's cold hammer forged, it's a 1 in 9 twist rate. It does seem to be pretty stunning, and it also seems to maintain that consistency across various brands and ammunition weights types as well. It's threaded 1/2 inch 20 for a moderator or brake. You're not going to use a brake because, you know, if you've got recoil issues with the 17 HMR, maybe pick a different sport. The moderator obviously does get you a lot of the muzzle report reduced, so it's much less effect on your hearing and your ears in a hunting scenario. But on the range, I'll still stick my ear defenders on just to minimise it, because I'm shooting all day every day a lot of the time. The barrel is fully floated in the synthetic stock, and the synthetic stock, as you can see in the video, is stiff. It doesn't give you any point of impact shift when you're using it from a tripod stick, which when clamped here can disturb some guns. It's got 2 sling studs at the front, so you can put a bipod on and a sling, and you can put 1 sling stud at the back. That's all fairly par for the course normal kind of stuff. The soft touch stock is very grippy and it's hand filling. It's got a slightly flat base, so you can, you know, make sure it'll rest if you're resting it, although I generally shoot from a bipod anyway, or from sticks. These sort of rectangular panels on the side are quite grippy, and you do get something similar at the grip, which means you've got excellent tactile perception on this rifle. It really does seem to hold and point well. You might notice at the end of the video that I just can't help but just shoulder and point the rifle, because it does have that just completely dexterous feel that it just makes it an extension of you, your arms, your hands, your point of aim, everything. The cheek piece is flat, it's quite high, so you get good alignment with your optics, and of course it's got length of pull at 14 inches, which is, you know, 356 millimeters, so it's not too short. The recoil pad, it's either an extremely hard rubber or a hard polymer, which, to be fair, there isn't much of a technical difference between. It is grippy because it has the similar rectangular panels on it, and it holds in place, and of course it's not exactly going to be transferring huge amounts of force into your shoulder. Bolt release on the left side works fine. This rifle, I was actually shooting it the other day with another rifle, and the bolt release on the left side was an absolute nightmare. It was a centerfire, and it just wouldn't work because it had been machined to some amazingly close tolerances because of some fantasist designers' principles, and actually when you got it in the real world, one speck of dust and it didn't work. That's not an issue with the CZ bolt. I've spoken 101 times about the flat top on the firing pins, so the actual firing pin here meets the actual back of the barrel, not just the chisel tip there on the actual chamber wall itself, so you don't get damage. And you've got twin extractor claws, there's plenty of ejection, you know, it depends on how fast you pull the bolt back, but it always flicks out regardless. I'm just going to recock this now and put it back in. The trigger, now in fairness, the trigger on this one, it has actually just developed a little bit of slop on it. It came in weighing at 1513 grams, which is £3, 5.5 ounces. But, well, I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to tweak the trigger now. I probably won't be able to do that on camera because YouTube don't like that kind of thing. But essentially, I actually don't mind doing this at all, because this to me shows me a rifle which has been designed to wear in, to be adjusted, and then to last, because I've got an LRP, as you probably know, and the LRP, which is the same action, same trigger as this, I adjusted that after the first few hundred rounds, and 2 and a bit years later it is still precise and crisp. So to do that, I'll basically just take the action out of the stock, and I might show some pictures on camera. We shall see how it goes. Magazine system super simple, loads in a single column. These are easily available as spares, or if you ever happen to lose them you can get them. They're not too expensive at all. They clip in place without any problem, and the feed is smooth with no maplat damage to the bullets. Now 17 HMRs are particularly vulnerable because it's a tiny bullet in a very small case, and of course if you bash the maplat, which is the very tip of the bullet, and deform it or push it into the case, it's not hard to push them into the case if they don't feed well, and in some rifles that is the case. CZ 457s, that is not the case. 457s feed smoothly straight into the chamber and you've got no problem at all. The only difference between this and the 457 LRP bolt is that that has got the big sort of rubber golf ball type tip on it, which, you know, actually just pushes over and locks in place. But essentially the bolt system is exactly what it is, and you'll see me on camera, you can see me now, you can manipulate it with your whole hand, you can manipulate it with your thumb and fingers. It's just beautifully smooth, beautifully simple. CZ use anti-corrosion coatings on the steelwork. I have yet to have a CZ that's given me any rust specs on it of the new 457. I do actually have a very gloss blue coating 452 which is over 20 years old, and it is still gloss blue with no rust on it from either atmospherics or from the acids and sweat on my fingers, for example. The 17 HMR only comes in the 16-inch 410mm barrel, but if you do have the 22 LR version, you can have that in the 16-inch or a 20-inch barrel. Personally, I think that this 16-inch barrel will be my absolute choice in either rifle. You've got dovetail mounting here, so it's pretty easy to put scopes on. You've not a problem with eye relief, and you've not got any kind of hindrance with magazines or things sticking in the way if you're using night vision or anything like that. A lot of the newest night visions now are 30mm tubes rather than Picatinny fit, which makes life extremely simple. And to be quite honest, I'm hoping to hang on to this rifle because I really do like using it. I have actually bought quite a large quantity of ammunition to use it for various video projects. I will be putting, pretty much after this video is completed, I'll be putting a PAR DS35 on this. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use the DS35 with the 50 or the 70mm lens. It doesn't actually, neither one persecutes me, but it's just a kind of preference because I'm swapping two of those scopes between several different rifles. And I think on this one, because my most likely quarry on this is going to be rabbits and hares, sort of out to 150, 175 metres, I think I'm going to put the DS35-70 on this, which has got that little bit more magnification, just because I might need that little bit more aiming precision, because they both really offer all the same features and functionality. But you know, I'm very keen on being realistic about the requirements I need for aiming precision. And of course, shooting at those sort of ranges over grass paddocks, I don't have the particular requirement for field of view, which is why I'd go for the lower magnification version, which will be, you know, around rats, pigeons, barns, etc., and farmyards, where you do probably want that larger field of magnification, or sorry, larger field of vision, because you are using it at closer range in sort of fast fire action. Here you can see the trigger in detail with the adjustment screws, which I'm going to be adjusting on my unit. And it also just goes to show here, we've also got the barrel removal screws, because don't forget, all these CZ 457s are compatible with the mini kit, so you can have any barrel you like on this one, because this is the Varmint, it's got the heavy barrel, so you can go even longer in a Varmint barrel if you want, or you can go for a lighter skinny barrel and it's still not going to be a problem. If you happen to choose one of the CZs that doesn't have a Varmint barrel, of course you've got a narrower channel in the fore end, so you would be a little bit more restricted in your eventual barrel choice. But to be honest, it wouldn't worry me too much, because this one is the one I think I might pick out of them all. I was very fond of the 457 Beach. I think that was a slightly emotional thing, because it reminded me so much of air rifles when I was young, when you really wanted that beautiful wood and slender barrel, and it was all about the looks. And I still like the rifle, and it still shoots extremely well. I've shot a lot with it. But I think this will be my choice overall, because I love the longevity of polymer stocks, the fact you don't really need to worry too much about it. It'll take the bumps, it'll take the scratches, which the wooden stock won't quite as easily. Well, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and please keep track of my weekly uploads because there's plenty more to come from me. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.